Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the next installment in my A to Z videos about fragrance. Today we're up to the letter U, and I'm going to talk about a fragrance that when I was really getting into this hobby late last year was being hyped and talked about. It was one of those fragrances that was the fragrance of the moment. And there were lots of reviews on YouTube, and it got me interested, and I found a tester bottle of this on eBay and bought it. And we're going to talk about Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo. So Ferragamo Uomo, again, is a very popular fragrance late last year. It was one of the most talked about releases of 2016. It, particularly because of this tiramisu note, which was, I guess, kind of unique in fragrances up until this was released. And I bought this fragrance, sprayed it on, and having had quite a few tiramisus in my time, I thought it was a pretty realistic approximation of that aroma. And the aroma for me is mainly capturing, I know when I've made tiramisu, I've used a coffee liqueur, and this aroma actually captures the combination of the coffee liqueur and the sponge biscuits that are used in traditional tiramisu recipe. So they did a great job in capturing that combination. So it's not just a straight up coffee scent that you get here, and it's really nice. And as long as you like that smell and it's something that you think you could wear, it does a really good job. I actually quite like the opening of Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. It's got a lovely citrusy, it's bergamot and spicy opening. So when you first spray this on, you would be forgiven for thinking that it's almost a fresh style scent, but it quickly phases into this tiramisu sweet note, and then the sweetness just continues to build into a sweet avalanche. After a few wearings of this, I initially really enjoyed wearing this, but what I've found with this fragrance, and it's also something I've noticed in quite a few new designer fragrances that have been released over the last 12 months. It could even be going back further than that when I've smelt them in store, and there is something in the dry down of these fragrances that really remind me of all of them. So I can only assume what I'm smelling is a very common ingredient that is particularly used in designer fragrances, cheaper designer fragrances. And the other pattern I've noticed is that a lot of these releases have got openings when you spray them on that really capture your attention, but I've found that once the fragrance dries down, I sometimes have trouble distinguishing them from each other. And I had a look at the note pyramid for this particular fragrance, and it supposedly has ambroxan and tonka bean, and this one has cashmeran as well. Now, so there are synthetic materials used here, and I think what I'm getting is a combination of those ingredients that I'm smelling in a lot of other fragrances. And the aura or luster around this fragrance has kind of died down a little bit for me. I mean, I don't dislike it, but I certainly don't like it as much as I did in my early wearings. It does grab your attention, but it is also the type of fragrance that you can tire pretty quickly from after a few wears. And you know, it's easy to see why fragrances can get hyped and you know, become popular. And sometimes it is good to get reviews of fragrances after they've been around for several months or after a year or so, because I think this got released about this time last year, and it certainly is not the excitement fragrance that I thought it was when I first got it. And you have to understand also that when I got this, I didn't have anywhere near as many fragrances as I have currently, so this is kind of being pushed to the back of the queue, and it's only because everything else I have, to me, smells better than this. This still has very good performance. I get at least 8 hours. A lot of that is pretty soft projection from this. It's certainly not something I would wear in warmer weather, because I don't want my tiramisu sitting in the sun and going off. And that's what I feel it would do on my skin, and particularly when it dries down. I don't know if I've got too much more to say about it, other than if you're a fan of gourmands, certainly check it out, because you know, there's no other tiramisu accord that I'm aware of in other fragrances. It's certainly unique in that regard, and it's probably one of the better things that Ferragamo have released in recent years. But I don't know whether Ferragamo Uomo will stand the test of time over years, and it would not surprise me to see this probably discontinued in the future. I could be completely wrong, but if it stays a big seller for them, it probably will stay around. But yeah, that's my quick overview of Ferragamo Uomo, and I hope you enjoyed that. And please leave a comment if you've got this and what your experience with it is. I'd be interested in knowing. Thanks for watching. See you later.